While much of the media spent the last 2 years discussing a report that was not yet complete, the Mueller report is now finally complete, and we at least have a summary of it. So before I get to a short summary here from CNN on what's actually in this report, let me just say something here. There is a reason I didn't waste time talking about this for the last 2 years, and it's not because I didn't think that there was anything in it or I thought that there was something in it. I had no opinion because the report wasn't complete. Now, yes, there were, moments like indictments that happened that I can understand, media reporting on. But to focus on this Mueller report before it was complete and just to endlessly talk about what might potentially be in it, is that what journalism is? I mean, there were other things happening in the world. There were important stories to focus on, important political discussions to have. But instead, a lot of the media focused on this Mueller report, and now look where it got them. So let me just break down this. So first of all, the actual full Mueller report is not yet available to the public. I think it will be at some point. But right now, all we have to work off of is a summary from the AG, William Barr. So let me just break down using CNN's wording here what is actually in this Mueller report according to Barr. So, no collusion. Mueller did not find Donald Trump's campaign or associates conspired with Russia, Barr wrote. But Mueller did not exonerate Trump. Mueller did not have sufficient evidence to prosecute obstruction of justice, Barr wrote, but he did not exonerate the president. Evidence lacking for obstruction of justice. Barr and Deputy AG Rod Rosenstein made the determination that the evidence was not sufficient to support a prosecution of the president for obstruction of justice. No new indictments. Mueller's team has no plans to issue any new indictments. And what Trump said, the president went beyond the conclusions of Barr's letter and said the findings exonerated him. Quote, "This was an illegal takedown that failed, and hopefully somebody's going to be looking at the other side," Trump said. All right. Now, before I conclude my discussion about this Mueller report, at least what we know right now from the summary, I do want to play a clip here from Pramila Jayapal talking about this on CNN with Anderson Cooper. Now, look, a lot of Democrats in the party were super focused on Russia and collusion and all that bullshit. But Pramila Jayapal is a Democrat that actually cares about people. So one example, she right now is pushing the Medicare for All bill in the House. So her Medicare for All bill actually goes farther than Bernie's Medicare for All bill. And I think Bernie's bill is going to be updated because of Jayapal's bill. So again, this is somebody that actually cares about real issues. So it's one thing to have, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, who is just full on conspiracy mode talking about this issue, but to have Pramila Jayapal talking about the important aspects of why she wants to see the full report, I think this holds more weight than when other Democrats like Debbie Wasserman Schultz talks about it. So let me play this clip from Jayapal on CNN.
I think the reason we want to see the underlying documents is because there are so many pieces that we are investigating. As you know, there have been 81 requests for information from Judiciary Chairman Nadler so that we on the Judiciary Committee can investigate a whole series of things much broader than what Robert Mueller was given the charge for. I mean, we have jurisdiction over and responsibility for obstruction of justice, of course, but also abuse of power and public corruption. Those are the investigations we were prevented from having at all for the last 2 years under Republican control. And now that we have the gavel, we are finally beginning those investigations. The information that Mueller has collected is going to be key to those investigations. They're going to provide real information. But in addition, we have to look at how these conclusions were, how did he get to these conclusions? I think it's important for us not to just accept, without really understanding ourselves and being able to say to the American people that we represent that we have looked at all the information, we understand how he got to these conclusions or not. Remember, a big piece of this report does not exonerate the president, a sitting president, on an extremely serious charge of obstruction of justice. So, yeah, we've got to make that determination for ourselves.
All right. So Jayapal here with, I think, a very well-reasoned argument for why she wants to see the full report and understand Mueller's arguments in terms of... So on the obstruction of justice charge, Mueller had both sides of the argument apparently in the report. So he made an argument for why Trump did obstruct justice and also for why he didn't, meaning that Trump is not exonerated from obstruction of justice. That said, there are also a whole host of other potential crimes that Trump committed, like financial fraud or abuse of power. So these are other, the whole Trump colluding with the Russian government thing was absurd to begin with. The idea that Facebook posts and a few Twitter accounts won Trump the election is just completely insane. The fact that the election was close at all. Now look, I understand Hillary got 3 million more votes, but why was the election that close? Think about it. Donald Trump should not have come that close, let alone win and become president. So you have to look at the underlying issue here, which is that you have a Democratic Party and a Republican Party completely owned by special interests. So when you put up Hillary Clinton, who is the epitome of corporate Democrats, yeah, she's not going to be very popular. You need to actually build a real political movement, which is now what all of us, including mainstream press, needs to focus on in their reporting. So Trump is definitely, absolutely going to use this report as a way to campaign for 2020. He's going to talk about how the entire establishment was against him. The media establishment, the political establishment, everybody was against me, and they were all trying to set me up. And that's why I'm with you, you're with me, vote for me, because the entire establishment continues to be against me. He's going to try and make that case, which is why we actually have to build a real progressive movement. We have to focus on actual policy issues, what Trump has not done for people that he promised he would do, like universal health care or higher wages or all of the bullshit that he ran on that were actually, a lot of it was progressive rhetoric that he clearly did not deliver on. Democrats need to focus on Trump's inability to deliver on those promises while also actually offering real solutions. So when you have, there's really two candidates right now that I think are able to capture this. One candidate in particular, Bernie Sanders, obviously, somebody that actually has it right now is building a movement, building a progressive political movement to try and transform not only policy and actually institute policy that will actually benefit people, but also just this awareness, this nationwide awareness of how politics right now currently operates, and understanding that you need a movement of people to be able to put shine a light on that and push back against it in order to get anything done. So you need somebody who is completely uncorrupted. You need somebody who has a history of fighting for these issues, and you need somebody who can actually win. And I think clearly that candidate is Bernie Sanders.